was an issue with the package and the mic was not included. Every ounce of energy that I got is going towards prep for Worlds.
Sweden. Alba Boström from Sweden, 133.5 kilos, her third world record. And there it is.
Come on, let's fight, come on!
She is fighting to lock it out and manages to do so.
The 2024 edition from Sweden, Alba Boström.
Good morning guys and welcome to yet another YouTube video. Today it is Monday. I got an SBD session and I would say heavy squats, easy or middleweight bench, easy deadlifts. However, it is only week 2 of my program, which pretty much means this squat will be kind of easy too. So overall it's gonna be an easier session. I am a little bit tired, I can be honest. It's still like I'm still waking up kind of feeling. Either way, I'm gonna have like a banana, drink some water. I already had a smoothie for breakfast. While I was getting ready, I've been doing some reading and I am gonna go and do my meditation right after I film this video. And right after that, I'll go on a walk. After that walk, I'll jump straight into the gym and get ready with the session. I've been switching around now because we are 65 days out from the World Championships. For me, this competition is so important. I'm truly giving it everything that I got. Every ounce of energy that I got is going towards prep for Worlds. With that, right now it's getting closer. I've been deciding to start training in the morning. Previously, I've really liked training after lunch simply because, yes, if I train in the morning, I would have the most like mental energy because nothing will have come, like I wouldn't have any kind of noise or anything happen, because sometimes when you work, you talk with people, sometimes you hear things that maybe isn't the most fun, or sometimes as well, it's like you could get to work and I could get a little bit tired from working. And then, you know, all of a sudden, like, I'm gonna feel like my mental energy is low, I'm gonna search for dopamine, and then I'm gonna check email, I'm gonna check everything, and I'm just gonna check all of this noise. It may not be anything negative at all, it's just that it's gonna be a lot of noise. Then my brain is gonna start like trying to process everything that I'm, you know, hearing and have read and everything. And then, you know, I'm just gonna be kind of tired and sad. So when it comes to the session and, you know, it's time for me to have like a really heavy session where, you know, or not even necessarily a heavy session, like today, it's not heavy, but you know, a session where I just need to focus in and do my absolute best. And it's gonna be harder to do my absolute best and really focus in because of that fact that my mind is no longer primed, if that makes sense. It's basically like you only have like a certain amount of energy, mental energy throughout the day, you know, mental energy, and you want to make sure that that energy goes to what you want it to go to and what's most demanding. Because if you're doing these small things, like your small things, let's say this one I'm guilty of. You start thinking about what hairstyle are you gonna have for the girlies? What outfit am I gonna have? That could be for everyone, you know, which makeup am I gonna have? If, you know, what am I gonna eat for breakfast? Am I gonna do this first or am I gonna do this? What am I gonna start with? And then let's say you go on your phone and you shake and see someone else do a weight that's heavier than what you're lifting and you feel like, oh, I wanna do that. You maybe hear about the news, what's been happening in the world, and then, you know, you have all of these things that you're thinking about. That takes energy. And then after that, let's say you're gonna go and you're gonna lock into work or training, you're not gonna have that much left. However, doing those things that I just told you about, those small things, it doesn't take much energy. So you can do it later in the day. For example, like figuring out what I'm gonna wear. I don't have to do that in the morning because it's not that demanding. You know, I can just put something out the night before. Watching social media, checking news, anything of that is not hard to think about. So you can do that in the afternoon. I just try to make sure that in the beginning of the day, I'm doing what's most demanding. I just previously like to work before just because then I have 2 meals in my stomach and that makes me feel better. However, recently I've found that it's just been a case of me doing really productive work for like an hour or two, and then my energy is low and I struggle, to be honest, I struggle with going and taking my break when I'm supposed to. So when I'm done with the task that I was supposed to do and I'm supposed to like go eat, take a break, and then go train, it's like at that point my mental energy is low. Like it's just energy is so low that I start, like I said, checking email, everything. And then when I go into the session, I'm even more tired because I didn't take a proper break before my session. And that's just been happening a lot. And when we were in Spain, obviously, you know, I was free from work, having like a vacation, but still focusing in on training. We basically woke up, ate breakfast, went to the gym. I really liked that. Like it gave me a lot of energy. That's pretty much what I've been trying to recreate. I've been training in the morning many times before. I just always reach back because when I'm maybe dieting, I feel small, especially for squats. Like my belt fits small. Like bench is always fine, but for like my squat, I'm not as bloated. My belt has fed me a little bit loose and it's been hard to brace, and then it's been hard to stay tight throughout the lift, and that is just like the only thing. I've been getting more and more used to it. I've been basically trying to, okay, let's have like not just the morning, but let's have my long morning routine so I have time to eat up, like eat snacks and everything, then do my training. And that usually allows me to still be a little bit bloated because I have Kendrick as my nutrition coach as well, and we've been thinking about we get 120 grams of carbs like before my session at least. And I feel like I drink a smoothie, I could sit down and eat, it's just that I want to drink something. I'm doing my makeup, to be honest, in the morning, so I like multitask with that. And then, you know, I can have bananas, fruits and everything and still get kind of bloated. And then I found that it works, but my mental energy is higher. It's like I wake up, think now I'm gonna train. Because for me, the work afterwards, I can be really focused on it afterwards, because after training, I automatically have like a break because I have to eat lunch. And then I actually feel very fresh and very confident because I've done it in everything. So my work doesn't suffer because I do training beforehand, but my training suffer if I do work beforehand, or more like not necessarily work, but if I check email and notifications and stuff, which I could just say that I'm not gonna do, but I do it anyway. That was my brand. I know someone said they wanted a little bit more of mindset. What's my mindset? And that is one thing that I really think about mindset wise, is like trying to optimize my mental energy so that I can feel focused. Because one thing that I do in training is like I train alone. You know, that can sometimes be, let's say, boring. I still like it, but you know, you have to be alone and be able to, you know, get energy to do, I always have energy to do a heavy squat, but let's say control the easy weight and make sure the easy weight gets me stronger. That I would say that's harder than lifting heavy, because lifting heavy is fun. If it was possible to get stronger by just maxing out every session, I would probably want to max out every session because that's nice. But I just, you know, doing the focus on the sessions that are not that flashy, don't really want to post on social media because nothing happens, those kind of things. That's a bit about my mindset, especially now getting closer to Worlds. So I'm gonna train in the morning, except for Wednesdays because I simply can't. But on those days I try to, you know, have a good break before training. And also I'm not training alone. I get a lot of energy from the rest of the crew at the gym. So on those days I still feel like I have the mental energy, but otherwise it can be a little bit harder. So that was that. I'm gonna train in the morning for the upcoming 9 weeks and 2 days. Yeah, I think it's exactly 9 weeks until I'm gonna arrive and be in Germany as well. So that's pretty cool. So Worlds is in Germany. That was my rant. Like I said, I have an SBD day. I'm gonna go and do my meditation just to be honest, today is one of those days when I'm tired. I'm also in the week before my period, or like I'm in day like 16 of my menstrual cycle, but on the last 2 weeks, that's when it starts to go like downhill for me. I start getting more and more tired. My sleep is, I can still sleep the amount of hours, but the quality, I just don't feel as well rested and energetic. I just want to focus in on those days to like make sure that, because what I notice is pretty much like when I feel more tired, what could happen is if I'm feeling more tired, because for example my menstrual cycle is this, then I always do that. When I'm feeling that tired, I'm gonna be more prone to want to check notification and noise. And like I said, then my mental energy is gonna be sapped. It's like I can wake up and be like, oh, I'm tired today, and then I could just automatically like go to my phone or open my computer or do something else first. Just not a very good behavior, but it's something I noticed that it happens more likely when I am tired, because I just want that dopamine, some kind of release to give me energy rather than just, endure it. Then I noticed that meditation is quite important for me, to just be in tune with myself, be in tune, with what my choices, with what I'm doing, get some time away from social media, from technology and those kind of things. So that is pretty much it. With that said, I'm gonna eat my banana, go meditate now so I can get into the gym, but I will see you in the gym for probably I will be warming up first, but I'll see you in between a set or so. Alright, so currently warming up. Yesterday at 150 kilos and it felt decent, I can say it. I noticed the same thing last block and this block. I feel worse on week 2 than I do on the deload week, and I don't know exactly why. Normally I would feel like shit on deload week, a little less shitty but still a bit shitty, like not shitty, just like I'm not used to heavy weights, like heavy loads feel heavier, or light load feels heavier on my back, so it's like my nervous system isn't as stimulated to the heavy weights, which is usual. But now I feel like week 4 has stimulated me so much, so on week 1 I have my nervous system, I am a little bit fatigued, but at the same time, my nervous system is like very high, like I'm still used to the high ends, and so they feel very, very amazing on that week 1. And then I noticed like it was the same last block, but it's like now on week 2, my theory is I have the fatigue, but now because I went lower last week, my nervous system isn't as stimulated anymore. So it's like week 1 feels, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just something I need to, be aware of and, make the correct choices for training. But so week 1, and basically I train in 4 week blocks, just to explain everything for you who don't know what I'm talking about. I have 4 weeks of training. Week 1 is easiest, week 4 is heaviest. It's a dynamic program, so it's not exactly linear, but it's pretty much starting easy, going heavier as we go. So pretty much in week 1 or week 4, it's gonna be heavy loads, close to PR, testing the waters a little bit, not like RP 10 necessarily, but on some blocks, especially if it's lower volume that block, I'm gonna feel stronger. I could maybe equal my PR, even take a new PR. Then week 1, it's a deload week. And usually if I have high volume the week before, or if I've gone very heavy, like if I've been testing the waters a bit too much, then I'm gonna have a ton of fatigue. And I may be used to heavier loads, but I'm gonna be super, super fatigued. And so I have to go lower because of that. However, now I was very smart on my week 4. I had heavy intensities, I pushed myself, but I didn't get that much fatigue. And when I don't get that much fatigue, what happens is I still feel great on week 4. My nervous system is stimulated to the heavier weights. However, because I know it's a new block, I need to deload, I need to save the momentum for all upcoming weeks of the program, I still back off. It's not, I feel like I could hit a heavy weight on deload for the right RP, but I don't, I still go back. Now, the week after, it's like I still have been training, so there may be a small amount of fatigue, but it's not, I don't think it's fatigue because I have been deloading, but it's just that now my nervous system isn't as used to heavy weights because I did drop it back down on week 1. And so week 2 is mostly about getting the stimulus back to the heavy weights, getting a feel of things. In week 3, I will have a bit more fatigue because now I've had a week 2, which isn't as easy. it's starting to build up. Fatigue builds up each and every week. And then in week 3, I'm gonna start to feel like my nervous system is more stimulated to heavy weights than it was the week before, but not in peak shape. And then on week 4, I'm gonna be very stimulated. As long as I don't make stupid jumps. If I go too heavy on the deload, then I'm not gonna recover. And then all of that built up fatigue from the previous block of the week 4, all of the previous block is still gonna be there when I get to week 2 and 3 and 4 on the next one. Because I feel when I feel too good. So what I think I needed to do is, I think last block week 4, I probably should have pushed the last 3 sessions a little bit harder to build up more fatigue, because then I would have felt shittier last week, and then I would feel a little bit better now, because I think now, since I felt so good, I probably didn't deload. I did deload very good, but I probably didn't do it like crazy good, and that's why there may still be some pent-up fatigue today. And now my nervous system also isn't stimulated, but that pent-up fatigue is gonna go lower. I'm still gonna be able to get a really good block of training in. It's just that I have to like always analyze these things to make sure I get the most out of my program. Okay, I'm gonna do 160 now, actually. So let's do that. Mouth guard is from Airway. I've been liking this one recently. Previously, I would always have the cheapest one you can find. Now I changed to this one, so it fits a little bit better. Let's do this. I'm done with squats. So I did 170 for the single, which is 10 kilos more than last week. And it actually moved better than 160. When I did a 160 warm up, I felt like, man, this is way last week. It flew like, okay. But at the same time, last block I was super strong in week 3 and week 4. And despite traveling, for example, it was like not that big of a travel, and it was only on a Sunday when I rest anyway. But either way, I felt very strong. So, and then it was the same, like the weight that I did for deload really easy on week 1 felt heavy on week 2, but I still could go higher. 170 moved better than 160. Just getting that knee sleeves off. So it moved better actually. And then I went 140 for my backups. I only got 2 sets of 8s. Last week I got 4x4. It was just like 2 sets because it's my intro with 8s again. So just like not shocking the body with doing too much in the beginning, so that I'll be able to increase next week. And as well, I also get deadlifts for today. Didn't last week. So I'm getting more volume through that. So we're just being careful. Hold on, let me get this off. Okay, so we're just being careful pretty much with volume, which is always been the case since I started with Joey, and I like it. So that's pretty much it. I felt like the first set was better technically. I did film my second set from a bit weird angle, and it doesn't look deep enough, but it felt deep enough. Can be the case with me, and I'm just gonna count it as, it could be the angle a little bit, but I'm just gonna count it as it wasn't deep enough. And next session, film from the side, just make sure I nail depth and midfoot pressure so I don't get on my toes, because then it can be like a long range of motion, but I don't hit depth anyway. And we don't want to like do a longer range of motion than I have to and then like not even hit depth, versus doing the exact same range of motion and hitting depth. So it's like when I go too far on my toes, I have to go do a way longer range of motion to hit depth. Usually like you can feel when you've got like gone a certain amount of weight and then you push up because you're used to. And then if I'm on my toes, I'm not deep enough when I push up. But if I'm on more so on my midfoot or my heels, like when I say on my heels, my toes are still on the ground. That's my cue to unload the bar and get ready for bench. Yeah, either way, I'm very happy with how squats moved for this week as well. I feel like I got a good momentum in. Got squat again on Wednesday, got squat again on Friday. I'm just gonna try to make some tweaks in my morning routine as well to feel a little bit more fueled for the session and ready for it. So just gotta try to think about everything that I can, but otherwise I'm feeling pretty good. It's like not much weight today, but at the same time I know that this block isn't supposed to, and we were thinking about pulling the extra days out to make sure that I started to feel a little bit less worked and feel stronger and, you know, maybe hit some PRs, but we decided not to, because by keeping them in, I'm gonna be more and more worked, and by doing that and being more and more worked, through that I'm gonna actually be able to build more strength, and then when we pull it out, for example, closer to competition, then I'm gonna feel better. In that case, I'm also gonna try this block to push my back downs a little bit more than my top sets. So I feel like next week I'll probably do, if you're a conservative single, like somewhere around the same weight, and not go too high, even if I'm feeling good, just so that I can push the back downs and the eights a little bit more. Maybe go up to like 150 and do it good, because my PR is like 160, and it would be good to like go a little bit higher on my back downs, because that's gonna build me a little bit more strength than just doing the top set and just having top set as practice with doing a single. So I think that today I probably could have gone actually, like it felt good on the single, but I think if I would have gone lower, probably my back downs would have felt better. So I'm taking that lesson with me. Now let's do bench. I got 4 triples, and then we got some deadlifts at 65%, so that's like 160 kilos, I think. I have to calculate, but I think it is. So let's do it. Okay, so I'm benching right now. Then 3 of my 4 sets. So I got 4 sets at like RP 5 to 6 of triples. Yeah, I did triples at 100 kilos last week, so I increased to 110, and it's moving very well, so I'll stay there as well. 10 kilo increase as well. I feel like that's good, because that's what I did last block, like 100, 110-ish, 120-ish, and then, you know, I can go to like 130 on the last week, like week 4. And so bench is actually pacing very well. I don't know if you see it, but I feel like the bench is looking super clean. Like it's just looking clean, steady, and not much happening, which is like what I wanted to be like most of my sets as well during prep. Building momentum of good sets, because if I do a heavy weight and you know my technique suffers because I have to like push a little bit weird to get the weight up, and by doing that I actually like tattoo a bad pattern, a bad technique pattern into my body, which just makes it harder for me to hit those top weights. It's like my back end strength, since I'm very technical in that scenario. It's not exactly the same for deadlifts, but it happens after a while in deadlifts too, but especially like squat and also bench. I noticed that for me, like the biggest thing to keep getting stronger is just being very consistent in like my technique and how I execute things. So if my technique is very consistent, then usually I'm gonna have strength gains or like get up to my top end. But as soon as my technique changes a little bit, then my top end is gonna go lower, and then it can take a while to get back. So like consistency is key for me. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to focus on. And then after this, I got 3 sets of 4s, 65% in deadlifts. So just one more set. I'm trying to just make sure I rest enough. Also sitting out in the sun while I'm resting is because it is sunny, and you know, getting that D vitamin. So that's why I have headphones today instead of the speaker, so I can just, you know, chill and do my rest, because I feel like then I get some sun in, and that's good for your health overall, which will improve my energy overall as well, and that will help me, you know, the upcoming weeks in training, because I have gotten a lot of, you know, sun exposure being in nature as well. And I think there was like a study they did of people that after training or after stress, like they just went out in nature, or they were in like an urban area like a city. They found that you recover way better if you like look at nature. And they even try this at like people in an office having stressful office jobs, you know, they can't get out to nature. Even walking in like a small park could help. That's my timer. Even walking like a small park could help. Not only that, but like just googling nature on like the internet could also help with recovering a little bit. So sometimes I just try to like, especially after my session between sets, I can like just look out, because I think that it's more so that you see something that is bigger than yourself, like nature, the world overall, and that can help you calm down a little bit, feel more grounded, and feel like you have more energy. And you know, if you loosen your stress levels, then you can recover a little bit better as well. That's pretty much it. Okay, my timers went out, so last set, let's do it, the best set. All right, so I am done with the deadlifts as well, and they moved easy. Like the only thing was breaking it from the floor. It felt iffy. If I was being super technical, it felt harder, mainly because, sorry, the sun is in my face. I thought it would be a good angle because it's sunny, but like still, it felt like it's just that floor, because my floor is uneven, or it's not uneven here, but it's like holes in it, so it makes the bar move a little bit different. So it still felt like strong, and when I just focused on like not thinking too much, pushing, it was super easy. So and that was nice. I don't feel that tired, but I am done for the day. And this session is more like, it's not that hard physically apart from the 8s and squats. It's mostly like just getting working, good technique in, and also getting extra frequency pretty much, especially with like the deadlift and the bench. And then for squats it's like more a heavy day. But I also don't got any accessories, because since I started doing SBD, my accessories for this session that I usually have are moved to the Friday squat session, so my secondary squat session. So I do more of the accessories there, and I still get all my accessories in that way, but it just fits a little bit better. But I feel pretty good. I am gonna do some just like a cool down thing I have been doing, like It's like a challenge we have at home. I'm not sure I would recommend it, but I feel like it has helped me a lot. It hasn't done anything bad to my recovery, and it's pretty much is doing like literally like anime routinely. It's 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups. And I have been doing that for like, what is it, 8 or 9 days now, I think. Yeah, it's honestly just fun. I'm doing it with Sam and his little brother. Because it's very easy to get, and you don't get that tired, and I don't get any fatigue the next day. The only thing I've noticed is that my bench feels better, which is always done. I have this, like, I've been doing this a few times before, like doing 100 push-ups a day, and every time I do so, I just feel more in tune with working with my own body weight, which just makes the movement feel a little bit better. And so I do some as a warm-up, like 20, and then I do the rest like after the session or later in the day, and I just make sure that it's not something that fatigues me. But so far I have just been feeling more like I'm getting blood flow because it's not that heavy for me. Or like the only thing I would say is hard is like sit-ups, because yeah, I just don't like it. But it still has been easy, so I haven't felt fatigued at all or anything, but it is a fun thing, and it gives me a lot of confidence. Is feeling like I can move my own body a lot, like I'm more athletic, and I don't see why that would be bad. Just like, you know, it's not like we believed in the past where you're a powerlifter, you just want to sit all the time, don't do any steps at all. Maybe truer, it's more true for really heavy people than it is for lighter people. But you know, nowadays people are talking more about getting your steps in because it aids with recovery. And this is just something like getting blood flow and being more used to my own body, not adding load. I'm not doing like super deep push-ups. I'm not progressing them with weight or anything. I'm just doing it with my body weight, and it's basically just pretty much just blood flow. So I will be doing that. But this is the end of the session. It was a good one. Happy with it. I feel like I got a lot of good momentum in. So what remains now is doing my small challenge. It's just like a cool down, get my blood flow going after the session, which I feel helps. And then I'm gonna go eat, go for a long walk, and then working starts for the day. On Mondays, I try to do, since I have an SBD session, the session is longer, I try to do less work and then do more work on days like Thursday and Friday, where I have, you know, more time because the sessions are shorter. I still approach them with the same intensity, but they are shorter. So, you know, I have more time during the day if I want to do more work, versus today, I don't really have it. And instead of previously, I would stress myself up like, okay, I don't have time. You know, I was stressed through this session because I felt like I have to work the same amount every day. Now I'm more like, okay, I do less today, that's fine. And I just do the bare minimum, which is like answering clients, you know, having some calls or stuff if I need to. And then on the other days, I do more like deep focus stuff. So that's pretty much my thought process. Either way, I do hope that you like this video. Every video now moving forward is probably gonna be more so like world's prep, kind of like mindset wise, walking you through. It also helps me prime my mind and my thought process, like what am I doing, what am I thinking about, what do I need to do the next set, which I feel like helps me as well. So I feel like it can help you and it can help me as well. And then I will try, as I get my mic, I got the mic, but there was an issue with the package and the mic was not included. I know. So I have to wait for probably another week, and so that's why I filmed this entire video on my phone instead. But once I get that, I want to make like a technique video probably, but it depends a little bit, because as I get closer to competition, it's harder to have the time to do more explained videos. Like for the sessions, I won't be able to talk as much like technique when I'm going through things, maybe with a bar, but it's gonna be more so me just having to be quiet, reserving energy, focus on my heartbeat, focusing on my breathing, just making sure I get good sets in and that I'm focused for it. And that's one part of training. And then one other part is, you know, when you can think more about technique and everything. So it depends, but that's the plan. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And also, if you're interested in coaching, I do got slots open, and I do coach internationally as well. So if you're interested, you want to know how it works, but you have no idea if you actually want to get started now, you can still click the link below this video, schedule a completely free call with me, and in that call, I'll let you know all about how the coaching will work. I get to know you to see if I can actually help you, and if we're a good match, if we feel like we get along well, which I feel is super important because communication is a big thing. I'm not a coach that has like a set way of doing things, like this is my style of programming. I really try to work with the people that I coach to find what, you know, basically like put our heads together. You know your body, you're the one doing the training. take your experience and take my experience, put it together and make sure that we find the best program possible for you to make sure you progress. So that's why having a call first before you even decide if you're gonna do the coaching is super important, because if we feel like we can communicate well with one another, it's not a good idea anyway. It won't be suitable, because then we won't be able to make those changes in the program, because I need to communicate well with you. So that's pretty much why. Have a call with me if you're interested, and I'll let you know everything. Also, of course, cost, time frames, everything, and then you can decide at the end of the call if you want to jump onto it or not. Literally no strings attached. But with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.